Welcome to From the Ashes, the Dungeon Crawler Network podcast all about Ashes of Creation by Intrepid Studios. Bear witness to the rebirth of the MMORPG genre from the ashes of an industry that has left the gamers behind. I'm Aggelos, and Crojack is mimicking me. It's kind of sort of crazy.
I have not learned your intro by now, I swear.
Anyway, I'm the founder of the Dungeon Crawler Network, and we're coming to you live once again from the beautiful Mighty Beard Tavern.
It doesn't stink.
Well,
it's beautiful. It's clean. It's not a sewer.
That's true.
For those of you who are watching us live on twitch.tv/Dungeon Crawler Network, we're immediately going to get wasted in this bar and then go pass out in a sewer. Because our post show is going to be our MMO show. So guess what? 2 podcasts for 1. Yeah, I don't know. We're overworked. It's crazy. Actually, I'd say we're underworked because it's been a few weeks since we've actually done any show together.
Yep.
So, anyway, I got to say hi to all my awesome guests. First and foremost, I think we're being haunted by the voice of Stormslord.
That's right, the disembodied voice.
He needs an echo and some reverb to his voice just to really hammer that home.
You know, if I was a real
That would
audio
be right.
engineer, I could probably do that. But I'm not going to. But it would be cool.
It would be awesome.
It would
Halloween
be.
episode.
So yeah, we were adventuring in Vera, and we told Storms, don't touch that vase, and he touched
That's right.
it. Yeah.
Don't tell me don't touch something.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we told him not to touch it. He touched it. He got sucked
Touched
into it, and now he's sitting up on that the little bookshelf above the fireplace,
Yep.
the mantle above
There
the
you go.
fireplace.
I touched it.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Storms, for coming on, and we've got Alpha Soul.
Sup? Good to be here.
Whew, I was hoping I'd get more than one sentence or one word out of you.
You got 3.
I know.
Wait, no.
Hey, yeah,
I can't
3
count.
times.
That's not
There you
3.
go.
All right.
I don't know. Okay, don't worry about it. Math is hard. Moving on. Crojack.
What's up?
I hate you guys.
It's good to be here. I feel good. How many is that? It's good to be here. Well, 8 words? Is that good enough?
Yeah, but then you didn't get all the ones where you were counting the words, so that's awesome.
Then be counting infinitely as I count.
Oh, yeah.
There's no point.
Yeah. And I'd also say thank you to all of our awesome people who joined our shield wall by subbing on twitch.tv/Dungeon Crawler Network, but 90% of them are elves, and I really don't want to acknowledge any of them. So all of them are like elf master race, so I'm not going to acknowledge any of them for resubbing because of the elf thing. So no, thank you so much, guys. That is Lex, Satana, and Theater Elf, and I think Crojack too, but he's an elf.
I just want the funny badge.
And we got Margaret in chat telling me not to hate on elves. Margaret, there's something you got to know about me. Elves suck. So, there you go. Anyway, we got a fun show
Is that
planned.
about you or is that about elves?
What?
Sorry.
We've got a fun show planned for you guys this evening. Steven was let loose with Snapchat and was going nuts, so he sent us a
So
bunch
good.
of explicit videos.
Oh, it was so good.
Leaks everywhere. Yeah. We also had some missing art that appeared out on the interwebs that
Gorgeous.
yeah, a lot of it we haven't seen before, so we'll be checking out.
It does look
that.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah. We also have a director's letter with some interesting tidbits in there, as well as disappointing voting results. So if you were sad about this year's election, well, now you have one more thing to be.
Disappointing.
You can't compare those. Come on. You cannot compare a dog-cat election with that. You can't.
I'm just saying, both of those were my choices. So
Hey, see? He's a happy
Happy.
man. There you go.
I'm done. See you later, guys. I'm out of here.
Doesn't like fancy armor. Doesn't like dogs or cats. Doesn't
Well,
like elves.
they're not
Not
really
a lot of
cats
choice
now, are
left.
they? Right? They're not really cats, and it's not really
No,
a dog. It's
They're
a
pixels.
what was it? A rabbit dog and a peacat.
Oh, did they choose the weird animals and
They
not the
did.
normal ones?
They did.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, it makes sense to choose things that aren't like normal animals.
Exactly,
Because they're supposed
exactly.
to be Kickstarter, special, unique, right? No,
Yeah.
okay. Ag hates anything fancy. He likes his meat and potatoes. He loves his regular swords and regular armor and leather and dirt and man and
You know
all
what?
that jazz.
Let me try and guess. Let's try and guess what Aggelos voted for.
He voted a husky, and he voted. I didn't get a good look at the cats because I'm not a cat guy. I bet you he voted the husky though.
Wait a second.
Ag, was it the husky?
I was gonna say beagle, but then again, husky actually sounds like a.
He 100% picked the husky. 100%.
Crojack knows me really well.
Dude, it's not hard.
Scarily well.
Crojack and I seem to have this rapport where we
I get him.
yeah. So I did vote
You had it
husky.
when you said hello.
I actually don't remember what the other one was. I have to kind of look at it again. For the cat, I think I voted the Munchkin.
Gotcha.
Remember.
Yeah, the Munchkin. I like Munchkin cats because they got the little tiny legs. And really cute. I like them. Anyway, we will get to that here shortly. Let's just go ahead and jump right on into this. First and foremost, we've got a few new videos on Snapchat, which that's a thing.
Still.
It is.
Barely.
Still around.
Wouldn't they be better served doing Instagram stories because of Instagram's popularity and growth on Instagram being easier through tags? And I'm just wondering.
You know, that would be a great question for Margaret, who's in the chat right now.
Unless they have an arcing strategy that I don't know.
Well, I think that's too.
Well, why
I mean,
don't you ask Margaret, who's in the chat right now?
I thought that the podcast be better served doing podcasty things rather than my own selfish desires.
Well, maybe
It sounds very interesting.
maybe she'll answer that while we watch this little video here. This was the first one, and
Oh, is this a ballista one?
no, this is the facial one. I actually let the sound on, so for the next 19 seconds, you will hear this. I apologize if it's a little quiet, but this was recorded off whatever phone that Steven has.
All right, we got some faces here that Chris is working on. Let me get the good. Yeah. This guy. Oh, look at him. He's like looking around and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on, buddy?
Like I said, he's Tim Cruise. He's going there. You're starting to look better.
It looks good.
That look is so creepy when I'm sitting there staring at that thing.
Yeah.
Ah. We got some facial anime. It looks actually really good. The detail that was put into these. I don't think that's my thing right there. So that face. I don't know about that. Now, if only I can exit, full screen exit this thing. Of course, it's not going to let me do that.
Can we get that facial expression as an emote specifically for Aggelos? Just an awkward kind of like stare emote just for him. Put it in the store. I'll buy it and gift it to him.
that face looks like a face I've seen before. Not the expression, but
The structure?
no, I'll let you guys know when I remember it.
Okay.
And
No
Margaret, the question, because I think she zoned out there.
Fassbender. That's who it looks like. Michael
Sure.
Fassbender.
Okay.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
You're just saying random words right now. That's what I'm.
No, I swear. Here, let me look up a pic from.
Okay. Margaret, the question that was asked in chat was, why are we using Snapchat instead of like Instagram stories for these things?
The reason I bring that up is because Instagram, you can use the images portion of Instagram to help grow the Instagram account through tags and stuff like that, because the amount of background kind of images you can put on Instagram is fantastic. Then on top of that, you already have Instagram stories baked into there. So why branch out to another platform like Snapchat that is a bit on the downtrend right now in terms of all the social platforms? Right? As soon as Instagram stole stories and made Instagram stories, Snapchat lost a lot of its juice in terms of its user base.
This is also, I think Facebook now does it too.
Yeah, everyone does
and the perfect
does it.
question right there. Steven said wants to use Snapchat, so
He probably has a set of stocks in Snapchat. He's probably invested in Snapchat. And he's like, all right, boys, I'm force feeding everyone Snapchat. Let's do it.
anyway.
I would be surprised.
I'm actually really surprised we haven't seen like some weird Snapchat filter on the character animation faces. So
What?
like,
Yes, puppy dog ears and cute eyes, and let's go.
there you go.
Let's go.
All right, that's enough of that. All right, moving on to the next one, which is actually pretty neat overall, I thought.
Yes, overall.
Let's go ahead and play this one.
All right, we got some shots here with one of the Castle Siege ballistas, the turrets that players can use. Let's destroy that trebuchet. What happened to the trebuchet? Yay, physics!
Yay, physics.
There is nothing I love more as a content creator than wonky physics. They make for some of the best content. A game with wonky physics, just the best. I love it. Now, for my MMO that I'm emotionally invested in, maybe not so much.
You may want to tone it down a little bit with the physics, but
But no. The content creator in me says leave it and let me make funny videos using these physics. It'll never happen.
Right. I did. It's pretty neat. It's nice to see it coming along. But the one thing that I do want to highlight, which is neither here nor there, but remember the Siege video we got once upon a time? I think we talked about it. How much that those items at the point of recording that video were likely just props.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They were props. They weren't usable, right?
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
It'll look different when we finally get the game.
Indeed
It'll
it
look
will.
different.
Next little bit of news we got is some art that has resurfaced from the void. I think that's the best way I can describe it at this point. Yeah, we'll use the void. Yeah. We actually had from 2 previous employees of Intrepid Studios. This is something that we found. I'll actually have these up in the background. We'll scroll through them ever so quickly, but some of them are pretty neat. There will also be links in the description of the podcast if you want to see all this over on website dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. First up, we got Javier Perez, who's now working over at PlayStation VASG. And if you actually come down here, we're going to see a lot of his texture work. Here we go. We'll go quick through the Siege breakdown, which is pretty neat to actually see. It's showing
There's a lot here.
Oh, there is. There really is. They've got this high poly model, a gray box version, and then what looks like a very low poly model on a lot of these first things. I don't know. It's one of the first times I've seen a lot of these very specific images.
I went diving through here on my own just because I was so curious, and I went through all the different subsections of all the different images they had. This stuff's pretty cool. But if you guys have the time, if you're listening to this and you have some time and you want to dive into what these artists were doing while they're working for Intrepid, take the time. You will find some beautiful stuff, some beautiful textures, and the attention to detail is phenomenal.
It really is. It really is. And I see people in chat. I will actually post the links that I have for the videos in chat as soon as I get these images off screen. Can't do multiple things at this point. I don't want to go through a whole bunch of these, but I actually did want to highlight one particular thing here. And it's not off this one. It's actually off the second employee, John. What did we say his last name was?
I have to look at it again. I can't remember. Let me pull it up.
Aureliano,
right
I think, or something along that line.
Arellano?
I think so. Anyway.
Something like that. John.
Yep. Here's a cat for anyone who's interested. Bye, cat. We actually have a lot of these neat images, and I'm loving these high poly models because look at these wall sconces.
Oh, we're on the props, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, we're on props right now. These wall sconces and braziers are beautiful. And I know I'm like a broken record at this point, going back and saying they don't need to go too crazy with the armor and weapons when you can get this level of detail.
You want your traditional looking stuff.
I do.
At the very least, you want your traditional looking stuff in the game. And then once you have that, go nuts. Add on to the intricacy as from there. You got to
Right.
start with the tradition.
But these are so awesome looking. But actually, each
shield.
one of these, we're getting down to the sword and the shield. When I saw these, someone actually posted this to me a little bit earlier and was like, look at this sword ag. This is like a sword that you would like. And it's absolutely true. It is beat up, but I love it. Then you look down at these shields. These also are shields that I will love. But I don't think they're actually designed as weapons you can actually get in the game. These are all props from the Castle Siege.
Let's get real. If they're making these props, they're going to make versions of them or similar to them or in the ballpark of them available as equipable weapons. They're not going to have these lying around the world and then not allow you to wear anything similar to them at all. It's just like all over the ground. Unless they're ancient weapons.
I don't even know if you would say that they're ancient at this point, because the ancient ones are what we were seeing in APOC according to their lore.
That's the history.
True.
Yeah. Those were of the ancients prior to the fall.
You're going to see stuff like that everywhere in the game, and then as you progress deeper to the game, you're going to get that more intricate stuff. It's going to happen.
Yes.
I'm kind of with Crow on that. Yeah, I think so.
I don't. But okay. I'm gonna argue for continuity's sake here, because I really want to argue for continuity's sake. So first up, the Castle Siege stuff that they showed us, right? That's supposed to be before the fall of Vera, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So all that's supposed to be before the fall of Vera. So you would think all the ancients, right? Then why are we seeing weapons like that stacked in piles of rubble?
I see what you're trying to say. What you're trying to say is if our heroes hold on to these glowing, intricate, elven designed weapons, right? Why are the trebuchets and catapults kind of basic? And why are all the weapons and armor strewn around the ground kind of basic? And
like who's holding those?
I mean, if we're going with lore here, I don't think that's so. The idea is at this stage with the Castle Siege, right? It's the second stage, right? It's not everyone's fighting. Everyone's fighting over whatever leftover castles are left, right? You know, there's no saying that there isn't regular just crap laying around.
According to the story of how it goes, from what they've told us in the past, the BR was when we were trying to go through the Divine Gateways. Something happened and we got rejected. Castle Siege is actually the people who were left over. Was it before the? So this is all still before the fall.
Yep.
And then Horde mode, in lore, was the final stand before they all died.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: y'all die.
Unless you're a Tolnar.
Unless you go underground and become a Tolnar. That's your only choice.
Right, but I mean, it stands to reason. What is it? The Horde mode is the final siege, right?
Yes.
Sure.
But that stands to reason that things are happening before that. Like even during the Exodus, you have no reason to leave unless something is happening, right? So
you know the calamity is coming,
or either you know it's coming, or or it's actively happening.
Right.
So if everyone is mass exiting and certain people get strewn down to the ground, that kind of suggests that the rest of the world isn't a-okay at that time, and you're and then the scramble for the castles.
And further to Aggelos' point, just because some people have these amazing lightsaber weapons doesn't mean all people have amazing lightsaber weapons. The infantry, the militias, they're not all going to have amazing lightsaber weapons. There's going to be different types of it, which is why you're going to find regular stuff strewn on the ground, like that shield, like that sword.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or everyone does have lightsaber weapons.
I mean,
And that'll just piss off Aggelos to no end.
honestly, the wooden shield would probably be me, because in most MMOs I'm always poor. So
Well, then it wouldn't be Aggelos.
This goes back to this. We've had this meta discussion before.
Yeah.
But why do story MMOs make everyone the hero? Like, even Steva says we're coming back. We're already heroes going through the portal. I just want to be.
Doesn't everyone want to be a hero?
I never liked that to begin with either.
I don't like that.
I'm kind of with you.
Simple, dude. You're the chosen hero. Guess what you get to do? You know what? No, I'm gonna go plant these strawberries. And
That's-
enjoy
Yeah.
the calamity. I'm going over here. Bye. You're still the chosen hero. You just like, nah. You went off and did some strawberry farming and some, fishing.
Isn't that what I do in BDO?
Yes, that's why I chose those things.
Controlling the black spirit.
No,
No one else
I
can
would
do
love-
that. No, I'm
I'm
gonna
with
sit
you.
here and plant flowers.
I would love to see the developers in their lore say everyone coming through the gate is either, let's give some examples, criminals who were sent through first because they're criminals, adventurers who are bored with their life and want to leave, that kind of stuff. I want to see just regular different types of people coming through the portal. And like you said, not everyone is the chosen one.
Right.
But how do you write questing if everyone's not the chosen one?
Right. Not sure who has some background noise going on there, but I'm hearing it.
Oh, that's probably me. 1 second.
So yeah, that's always been an issue for me. So like, I get we're gonna be moving forward. I just from a continuity point of view, it doesn't make much sense why when you're looking at the castle siege, which is supposed to be in before the end of time.
Yep.
Or before, the Vera was just
The end of
ripped
Vera,
apart.
old Vera.
Yeah. That we see these more realistic looking weapons in a period where they wouldn't have been around. Because at that point, you could have assumed that civilization would have advanced so far. Why would they just be hanging out there? It just seems like an oversight, unless they're going to be using these models in the MMO. Not
Probably
just.
will.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping they scale back the lightsaber bit. That's all. Just scale it back. Bring it, reel it in, Just
Well-
nice and tight.
I would give this analogy for that. Let's say civilization collapsed in the United States, right? And for some reason, something happened that all chaos broke loose. If you were to, if whatever, people are running, getting on airplanes or whatever and trying to get out, a bunch of people don't make it. Where do you go as your last stand? What would be our castle? It would probably be a military base, right?
Yeah.
My
Something of the
house.
sort. Or, okay, fine. your
It is a
house, right?
military base.
But the point is, if you choose any base, more than likely you will probably end up at a place with a variety of items, from, your top grade premium, weapons
I know
down
what
to
you're
your,
I know what
you
you're
know,
getting at.
Yeah.
your pistols and stuff like that. So I genuinely don't find it strange that it would be laying around.
You're saying the arms and armament in this castle, in their armory, are much higher quality than your average Rabble's gear. So when you're playing castle defense, you have access to these amazing weapons, these amazing armor, because they're held there in the armory, much like your very powerful weapons would be held in a military base as compared to like a regular rifle that a regular person would have or something like that.
Yeah, no, that's part of it. But
Yeah.
within that base, you'll still find the whole gamut of items.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It won't
Your
just
handgun,
be
your assault
yeah,
rifle, your bazooka, right?
It won't just be your premium items, right? It'll
Yeah.
be you'll have the whole gamut. That's what I'm trying
I
to get
gotcha.
at. And it's very unlikely that you will ever find a place that is just pure premium items.
There are plenty of normal swords and shields in the old world, but Aggelos, we are the special chosen ones, and we get special chosen swords because we're special chosen. It's okay. It's okay.
I don't like the chosen.
The last time,
either.
the
I
last
hate
time I heard about being the chosen one, you got your arms and legs cut off and fell
That's
into
true.
lava. Albeit would be fitting with the lightsabers we saw earlier.
Yeah.
So.
It would work pretty well.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next bit, the creative director's letter. So this came out on July 16th. I know we're a little late, but that's okay. Yeah, no, we've been waiting on this one for a little while. There was some pretty interesting information in there. Obviously, they did a team update, which was pretty cool. We got to see some of the new people who have joined over at Intrepid Studios, including, I guess they mentioned Jincy, even though I don't know which one that is, who did the Felbeek Macaw. They didn't really highlight it on their team page. Well, actually, the picture they did, the team page, I think they probably did, but I was just looking at the pretty image, and unfortunately, pretty image.
Purdy.
Purdy.
Yeah, I know which one it is now. Anyway, All right, so we got new team members. That's cool. Definitely check that out if you're interested in seeing that. They also have, I guess they're still looking for people. So if you are talented and want to help Intrepid grow, you may want to head over to their job site and look under their careers section. The big news, which is pretty much exactly what everyone was waiting on because we were told that we were going to get a date, is Ashes of Creation Apocalypse, as they're calling it now, the testing ground. This is smart that they added this in here, by the way.
Yeah.
Is coming back on August 20th.
And this is the Battle Royale, not the Castle Siege, right?
Which, by the way, they did not actually say, but yes, I believe it is.
That's my belief.
Yeah.
You're right. It could be both, but it's my belief it's just a Battle Royale.
Well,
Just guessing.
given the fact that unless Steven recorded those Snapchat videos months ago.
Download ready to ship. Download ready to ship at $60 AAA title price. Let's go.
Why not? Every other game has done that in early access.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, just slap the early access title on it and give it to us. Let's go.
I'm almost positive, Crojack, I've seen you stream something like Subnautica where it broke during your stream.
Dude. Subnautica's most recent expansion. They're like, all right, early access, here you go. And it's just like the story mode ends and a prompt comes up and says, this is the end of the story mode. You can keep going, but there's no voice acting. And oh, it's so rough.
Anyway, so yeah, that's coming. Unless those videos were recorded ahead of time, and we know that they have done this in the past. Because remember some of the very first developer diaries. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They
Yeah,
left
old footage.
They left the timestamp on the bottom, like you could see their computer
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
They won't be making that mistake. Well, let's see.
I actually haven't seen them in every other video. I think they caught on that everyone else
Yeah.
noticed
They
that,
cropped it.
and they
crop.
that out now.
The internets will be looking for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that very first one was very neat, but it had been recorded in like January of last year. It's like, oh wow, that's a little old, isn't it? But yeah.
When it comes to APOC, when it comes to this Battle Royale, there's only really a couple things I'm looking for. I mean, the Battle Royale experience was okay. I mean, it was free. You didn't pay for it. That's great. It was an okay Battle Royale. What I'm looking for...
Some people did.
Yeah, some people threw money at it, but that's their enjoyment. They can do what they want.
Yeah.
What I'm looking for is I want to see some of the changes. I mean, I wanted to see the particle effect changes to the spells and stuff like that, because I know that's going to reflect in the MMO. I want to see stylistically and artistically how are their abilities going to look, how flashy are they, and then later do they decide are we going to turn these down, turn these up for the MMO. I also want to see some of the weight they've said they've added to the melee combat. I'm curious to see how that's going to feel.
I think you're not going to see a lot, in personal opinion, you're not going to see a lot of visual change, I don't think. Because I think what they were doing is they're re-architecting, right? The way to the melee.
Yeah.
There's a lot of re-architecture, so you may not notice it, but it may feel more fluid.
Hey, if it runs smoother, that's nice too. Because man, sometimes like I have a pretty good computer, and I'm like, ugh, this is not.
I'd like to think they would turn on exactly what they turned off to do a comparison, right? So have a control group.
Right.
You had the old one,
Yeah.
save an old server, keep the new server, play them both, and then you can really compare the two.
That makes sense, right? So any changes they have made, maybe they hold them back just to do, like you said, a perfect one-to-one comparison of old architecture, new. That makes a lot of sense. Day one test, I bet you that's what they do. Or they turn all the things on.
By the way, we are not doing the new one yet, right?
Yeah.
What I want to see, there are two things that I want to see. One, I want to see the UI. As strange as it sounds, I want to see what they're saying is the better UI, because before the excuse has always been, it's rush out. Obviously, we just slap on a UI. But if you're saying better UI, to me that lends to me that you're starting to take it seriously. And I want to see what that serious direction is.
It's getting closer to their idea of a finished product, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and the second thing that I want to see is how they approach combat changes or balance, basically. Because in the very first one, I didn't really care, right? It's again, it's a beta. They were really hammering the servers. But now that you've had months and months and months to kind of sit on it, I want to see what are your thoughts around the balance in APOC, right? And because to me that it may not seem like a big deal, but to me that translates over into the MMO itself, right? How you approach balancing things. It's kind of like a preview to that, if you will.
You nailed it right there. It's a big deal because this is going to be the first impression for a segment of people to this studio's work. And they're going to maybe not consciously, but at least subconsciously have opinions about what they think the MMO is going to be like based off of how well they receive this Battle Royale.
People are already doing that based on the Battle Royale that was out
That's
before.
the hardcores. I'm talking about like the new people who are just getting into the space for the first time because of this.
I was just listening to a generic MMO podcast today, and they talked about, someone's like, have you seen the new mayoral video for Ashes of Creation? And they were watching it a little bit, and they're like, yeah, I'm still not sure what I want to do with this. And you always got to take these guys with a grain of salt and be very cautious around Intrepid Studios because of that whole Battle Royale thing they did.
Yeah, they shot themselves in the foot pretty good.
They did.
The greater MMO audience looks at this as a BR game.
You know what's funny? If I was Intrepid, I would love that. I would love everything about that, and I would tackle that head on and make the best damn game and prove everyone wrong. That's my brain. That's how I work. I would take so much joy in that. I don't know what the people at the top of Intrepid are thinking or feeling in this regard. I'm curious.
Well, where they're going to make their money quickly is a BR.
Yeah.
If it's good.
If it's good. That is absolutely key.
I was talking to Crojack just today about that, where if the BR is good, it's fun to watch.
Yes, it is.
I was talking to him about Apex Legends, and I was watching a very particular streamer who they were getting to diamond rank, and it was fun to watch. It was very entertaining, and then they switched over to PUBG. And I was bored out of my mind.
Pacing, movement, right? How many?
I just couldn't do it. I'm like, no, I'm out. I can't do it.
Imagine watching World of Warcraft mob grinding and then going and watching BDO mob grinding. There's a big difference visually in terms of entertainment value there.
Yes.
Yeah. What was it? Sorry, what's the most popular battle royale again?
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite. Fortnite, I can actually. That's the only game that I know that I can actually watch and go through, watch a really good battle royale player and really enjoy myself. Actually, that's the only game that I can actually watch people play.
I agree with you on that.
But they have to be good, and when they're good, it's really fun to watch.
It's top tier in that game is just phenomenal entertainment value.
I've been watching some top tier people who are, like you were saying, using the foot pedals for building, and they're building so fast.
Just for jokes, yeah.
But no, I mean seriously, like the really high end people build so fast. I hopped in and I'm like, what's going on here?
So from the perspective of Ashes of Creation, if they make a good game, if they make a good battle royale, they'll be okay.
Yeah.
And again, we keep hammering the same point. Once alpha testing starts with the MMO, a lot of this is just going to calm right down. This fear, this angst around the battle royale.
Right.
I think the fear of the MMO not being done will calm down.
Sure.
I don't. If the VR still doesn't measure up, I think you're going to cause a larger effect on the MMO of people not drifting towards it because of that problem.
That is a risk they run, right? What if the BR is not good?
And
then people aren't questioning whether they're going to run a BR instead of an MMO. They're going to question, hey, can they even do an MMO?
Can they even do an MMO if they can't do a BR?
Yeah, exactly, because BRs aren't complicated. We know this. They've said it themselves that BRs aren't complicated to make. They're really easy to slap together.
We threw this together in a weekend. Yeah.
Bingo, by their own words. So if it doesn't do well, it doesn't have to do perfect. It doesn't have to beat Apex or beat PUBG. It just has to be okay.
Has to be good.
It has to be good. Not great, just be good.
But to be honest here, the previous iteration was not good.
No.
It really wasn't.
I think it had pieces. I think it could have been good.
The melee fell.
But the melee ruined it. right? They got to work on the devil's in the details, right? You got to work on those details for the rest of it to work.
Well,
I enjoyed casting the spell book. I enjoyed the bows. I enjoyed the hit scan bow, the projectile bow. All that. That was fine. The movement was fine. The locales were fine. But like Storm said, that melee, man, just.
Mm-hmm.
Bleh.
And the thing that's most, I guess, disconcerting, and I see chat talking about this, Ashes of Creation Apocalypse isn't representative of the actual combat in the MMO.
Nope.
Because I see them talk about they want precise action combat.
Not at all.
No, that is actually not correct. The MMO is going to be a hybrid. So it will be a mix between tab and action. So what we're getting in Apocalypse is nothing like, you could be a grade A player at a APOC or vice versa, the MMO, and it won't necessarily transfer because they're different.
The Battle Royale's combat is designed for a Battle Royale. It's designed to feel like a shooter that has melee in it, right? It's designed for Battle Royales. It's designed for that game mode. Just like if you compare Warcraft 3 and World of Warcraft, they're both Warcraft, but they're very drastically different games. Just like this Battle Royale is going to feel like Intrepid's world of Ashes of Creation, but it's different than the MMORPG.
Right. And I think this will really help as when we test the background. And they actually even say here they're going to test the back-end systems first, the UI. And if all that goes well, we'll see Siege mode and Horde mode sometime later. But I think people need to also be ready, as per the one Q&A, that if action combat does not work,
Gone.
they're prepared to go back to tab. They've actually said tab is their fallback. If their hybrid system does not work, they'll go tab.
Yeah.
So I see people talking about, I hope it's more action than tab. I would not be.
I don't think
betting
you're going to get that. I don't think you're going to get that.
If I had to make a call, it's a tab combat with action elements.
Yep.
That's my call. That's what I would say it's going to be.
It's
with no knowledge. Just.
Yep. It'll be tab targeting, but there will be action combat level skills where ground targets and a few other little things.
And again, I've said this 300 times in podcasts. The most populated, most successful financially, period, MMORPG had a simple, uninspiring combat system. World of Warcraft. It was smooth as butter, but there was nothing fancy. It was the most basic of basic tab targeting combats out there, and yet
it worked though because it was so smooth.
It was so smooth.
Well, it works, and think about the top 5 MMOs. Are any of them action?
BDO is action, but it's actually tab.
Actually,
It's
not.
tab. Yeah,
It's tab.
It's tab.
It's
BDO is
tab.
tab.
But
It's
it's not.
action-y, but it's action-like,
The-
but it's definitely not action. It's tab.
The only full action MMO that even comes to mind is I think Asheron's Call. Maybe that not Asheron's Call. Help me out. They just did spin-offs. New Dawn, Rise of Aragon. What were they called? Do you remember what they were? Darkfall. Darkfall actually had projectile.
Yeah.
Yes.
Darkfall did. Yeah.
They were not popular.
No.
But I think people aren't looking for an action MMO.
No, they're looking
If they're looking for action, they're going straight to VR.
Yeah. Or an RPG that has combat elements in it. The combat system isn't going to make or break an MMO. Everything else about it is.
Or a tab target that makes you think it's an action MMO like BDO.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's not. It's not.
The social systems, the economy, the raids, the PvP, the crafting, the exploration, the world. There are a million other things MMOs need. More than just the combat.
And I see people saying ESO is an action MMO. No, it's
ESO
not.
is not an action MMO.
So when I see it and shoot an arrow go around the corner, you'll see.
It's all tab target. All arrows are soft locked. So as long as you're pointing in the general vicinity, you're hitting the target.
I play an archer in BDO. I have like
It's
a
fun.
50
it's
cone.
good.
If you're in it, I shoot you.
The thing people don't realize is they're looking at tab target from 2003 going, it can't be like this. Where it's clunky, you're hitting tab, and then it's, your buttons. You don't even have to be facing the target in order to hit stuff. Most modern ones actually use iframes and stuff of that nature in order to actually simulate a more action,
Yeah.
but a lot of that's visual. It's more
Yeah.
visual on your screen than what's actually happening in the background.
Yeah. And I think Lex Max brings up a great point. I think a lot of people confuse these, especially when you have like what do they call them? He gave the cone attack as an example.
Template. They're called
But
template attacks.
Yeah. Basically, when you just have like these areas that you can put down, you can dodge them and stuff like that. It starts to add more of an actiony thing, but that's
Sure.
not action combat.
No.
Right. Because you
It-
can react is what you can do, right?
It doesn't
Right.
have a true physics system. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. But anyway, people should be understanding that they're probably not working on a full physics system for this, and it will definitely be tab, and with action elements.
They say they were plugging. And I have to look it up. I thought they said they were plugging in another physics engine, but I'll look it up. It's been
Yeah.
a while since I looked.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure about that one either.
Well, you're right. They're not going to write a full physics engine. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, no, especially in an MMO.
Yeah, there's so much more work
Yeah.
to worry about.
That's right.
So many more things.
Yeah. Your best bet is they're going to have a tab action hybrid where the abilities feel
Yep.
action
Action-y.
based, but they're not
Actiony. I like that word.
Yeah.
actiony.
Feels actiony.
Action.
I think we had talked about this before. I think ESO would probably be the closest comparison to
I think
how it's probably going to end up.
I actually think it would be probably closer to Guild Wars 2. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, because they have ground target abilities, they have sort of frontal cones, stuff of that nature. Anyway,
Yeah.
last thing I'll say about this before moving on is from an outsider perspective, I love that they put the testing ground for APOC to set it that it's literally just a testing ground. I know it's a simple 3 words, but I think it is important.
But it's important to communicate it.
Yeah.
Since no one else seems to be sure of that. Moving on to the next little bit, the disappointment happened. No. They actually had a vote because if you were a Kickstarter backer, they offered a kitten or a puppy pet and a puppy pet, not and or, for the backers, for the original Kickstarter backers. And actually they headed over on the forums, and anyone who was already a Kickstarter backer and was marked so on the forums could cast their vote. And the Doggett won for the dog, which is a weird rabbit.
Dog, rabbit.
Dog
rabbit.
/ rabbit. Dog it.
Dog it.
Doggett. Yeah. Okay. Honestly, that one's not near as bad as the P
The
cat.
P-Cat?
Yes.
I'm never busting that peacat out.
No, it's never coming out. Oddly enough, do you notice that they only have concept art? Like, they were probably already planning on doing half of these because all the other animals in the picture, the Australian Shepherd, the Beagle, the Husky, the Pomeranian, are real-life pictures. And yet the Doggett and the Pea-Pup, which is a peacock and a puppy, were concept art because they're not real animals, which means they're probably going to be a cash shop item in the future. So if you have a Doggett, you were a Kickstarter backer, but you'll be able to buy the Pea-Pup in the future. And then going down to the cats, all the cats are real besides the alpaca cat, which is like an alpaca and cat
Alpaca
mixture.
cat, yeah.
Yep.
And then a peak. All this reminds me of is Avatar: The Last Airbender. Anyone ever see that before?
Nope.
Because they hybrid all the animals. And at one point they're like, we're going to Omashu, the Earth Kingdom. We were invited to the king's birthday for his pet bear. And they're like, bear? Do you mean platypus bear?
Oh, God.
No. Clearly you mean duck bear. No. Armadillo bear? No, it just says bear. This place is weird. Like, that was the line. Yeah. Anyway, so the Peacat and the Doggett were the two that actually won the most amount of votes. I actually didn't even look to the later results, But I'm pretty sure the PCAT won by far and away. The Husky got close,
Yep.
but still didn't beat the Doggett. So
I voted Husky. I'll be real.
I voted Husky. Yeah.
Huskies are cool.
Let's see. PCAT crushed it. Wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Let's see. And the puppy. That one was.
Ultimately,
That
I'm
one was
bumping
really
up my
freaking
favorites.
close. The Husky and. It was a 1% difference.
Unless
Really?
they let you pull out
Yeah.
more than one non-combat pet.
It
I'm
was
using the
really
Phoenix,
close.
that's it.
We're talking about. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, less than 10 people.
Really?
Yeah, that was the difference.
Okay. And I posted a link in chat, and there will also be a link in the description below that you can actually see the animals for those of you who are interested. What we're up there. But if you had a love affair with any of the other animals, I have a sneaky suspicion that they will appear as a cash shop item.
I, for one, welcome our alpaca overlords. It's gonna be fantastic when they take over the planet and make us. They'll ride us instead. The alpacas. They're gonna be massive. They're gonna be the size of alpacas. They're gonna talk and it's gonna be weird.
I see people. I forgot to vote. You're the reason that the Doggett won.
It's you. Hey, I like the Doggett better than the pea pup. That's for sure.
Oh, that's true. Oh,
The Doggett's cool. I voted Husky. The Doggett would have been my second choice.
I agree. If it couldn't have been the Husky, I probably would have done Doggett too. But because I don't really care for any of the others, but I do love my
Hey,
Huskies.
if the Doggett can pick up loot for me, I'm cool.
I'm pretty
Steven,
sure they said that
Let
none
my
of the pets
loot for me.
loot.
Let my pets loot for me. I hate picking up stuff.
You've been spoiled
BDO
by
is
BDO.
spoiled. I don't want to pick anything up. Let my pets do it for me. Let's go. I will throw real money at you, Steven. Real money. Give me pets that pick up my stuff.
Well, you'll be throwing real money, but I don't think it's going to pick up anything. Anyway, moving on to the last little bit of news. I'm actually going to play this in the background for those of you who are watching the video on youtube.com/Dungeon Crawl Network or here live on our Twitch channel. But it's the mayoral caravan system. I'm actually not going to have the words going, but actually, you know what? I don't know. Does anyone want to sit through 6 minutes of this already? No.
Put it on silent. Put it in the background.
Yeah, just put it on silent. Yeah.
Silent in the background. I agree. All right. So we actually got a little bit of a new video, actually.
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
kinda neat. Anyone else want to mention that this is probably an old video? Because you notice that they use the
for sure.
old horse model.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they showed in the live stream the last time they were working on purebred horse models, the muscle, just beautiful horse models. That's not this.
Well,
Not this. Well, they also
I'm
did mention
wondering-
that they had the purebred, and then they're going to have different scales, like the really big ones, and
Yeah.
they're going to have like slim down ones.
Yes, they did say that with the different species of horse, but this one was clearly very clunky that they used. I
Yeah.
mean,
oh yeah. It's
The
clunky.
character models are clunky too, and all that jazz.
albeit that character model does look interesting. He has really good posture, though. If anyone actually notices this,
He does. He does. He's standing.
His
He's
lats
sitting
are
straight
fantastic.
up. Yeah.
Hits the gym.
That guy works out. Everything in Ashes of Creation lifts. We've already discussed this. Everything lifts.
Oh,
Their
by the
pets,
way,
their horses.
that Sorrow's Hunger thing. I'm pretty sure that we'll see that in the Horde mode.
Oh yeah,
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah. That
It
is
was
the monsters.
It was in Alpha Zero.
Oh, okay, cool.
It
Yeah,
was at the PAX one. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. You could fight it in Alpha Zero. This is pretty cool though. In there, they're actually showing the vote happen for one of the towns, the town of Greenmoor. This is something I really hope that they do. I want all the nodes to have names that are come up by Intrepid. I don't want to see the village of, I don't know, penis or whatever.
I for one want to found the
Pen 15
metropolis
town.
of Pepe Hands. Right? I want Poggersville.
Long
Poggers.
Dog Meyer.
I'm gonna do all
Yeah.
the Twitch memes, all of them.
Um,
Yep.
yeah. So, man, I had a lot of thoughts on this one. It's like every time that I see Ashes like within, I actually just really do like the way that it looks. in it and kind of being within the world.
The lighting.
Within the
Yeah,
world, I agree. Yes.
Yeah. And the second thing that I noticed is, did you guys see that screen that popped up right before like he was trying to initiate a caravan?
Yeah, just select what was it the are you talking about the actual town interface showing how far it's leveled, or are you referring to where he was?
Oh no, the other one. Actually, I had a thought on that other too as well. But this one was like the trade was the only thing there. Taxes, construct buildings, citizenship functions, diplomacy, all those were to be implemented. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other thing that was cool that I noticed was there was that message that apparently was sent to everyone, letting them know that the caravan has launched. Like, I'm curious about how open that would be. Like, that kind of lens that you can't really stealth caravan.
And well, that message may have been just because of testing, but it also could go out to citizens. What if all citizens couldn't attack their own caravans?
Kind of makes sense.
Right. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
Like, I honestly think if they're going to alert that caravans are going out for, like, mayoral caravans, I think everyone who is a citizen of the node will be alerted. But remember what they said about the hierarchy of allegiances, where your citizenship trumps almost everything. Yeah.
Guild trumps everything.
Yeah.
So even if your guild wants to attack it and you're a citizen of that node, maybe you can't.
On the flip side,
I think that's the way it works. Yeah.
in what rare instance will your guild not all be in the same node or citizenship?
You know,
I'm trying to think of a
Well,
edge case where that could be a thing.
I'm thinking of it more from an exploit standard, more than I am
espionage.
anything else. Yeah, exactly. Like how can you game the system to get the most out of it? Because people will happily not be part of the same
100%.
node if it means riches and whatever advantage.
If you're invested in this metropolis, you send a couple guildmates over to the other the other place, the other area, become a citizen, get those notifications. All of a sudden, you're now notified, yo, our mayoral caravan's going out. Guild chat, yo, by the way, caravan going out this way. Go attack
Right.
it.
So that's what I thought about as well too, which is why I'm actually wondering what the restriction will be on alt characters specifically, because there seems to be
None.
a particular. That's what worries me, because there seems to be a particular reason why you wouldn't just willy-nilly switch citizenship for your main character, but for an alt character, on the other hand, there's nothing that I can see that's preventing an alt, you just parking an alt in, X amount of all of your enemy nodes, basically, for that matter.
And
I was not
and-
planning on making alts. Now I am. And
Steven
we're all
actually
being
even
called-
said that. He doesn't, that's why he's not doing account-wide guilds. He wants it to be able to actually hide what you're doing as a person. If you wanted to have a character in this guild and one over here, great. But
Okay.
I also think some of the limiting factor is time.
Okay.
Time being
Yeah, with the
like
map the size of it is.
if you're not on.
Right.
Well, also if you're not on, it's not like the notification would go out to everyone. Yeah, if you have enough spies, maybe that's something that's important.
And they have to be logged in at the right time to see the notification, right? If they're not logged in at the right time,
Well-
they miss it.
Well,
But think.
look at it like
Sorry,
this:
go ahead.
we all play BDO. How many times did one of our guildies get a notice that they tedded something and you weren't online? You wouldn't have known that. You know.
Well, I think back to my time in UO when we were fighting guild wars seriously, right? We had people who were literally part of the other group. Like, there's nothing stopping you from, like, let's just say we're all fighting. I would potentially log off and just be on that character during a time of fighting and war, just so I can constantly report back troop progress and where they're going, what they're doing, how many they have. Like, there's nothing preventing you from at least that action right there. Sure, you can't be on all the time,
But when you are,
but when you are, right. So, I mean, it's interesting, something to think of. But
my buddy almost had it right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have my main character, Crowjack. He's going to do everything. I'm going to have 15 alts The first one will be named Not a Spy 1, ONE. The second will be Not a Spy 2, TWO. And they'll be in different guilds, in different metropolises, all around the world. And I'll have a little spy network. Not a spy, not a spy, not a spy.
But it's also going to matter if you see enemy, announcements, how far your guild has to go to attack.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if
You
it
forget
takes
that.
hours to get from one side to the other,
I think
you're
we
not
can
gonna be
safely
ready
assume
for
it's
that.
not.
It won't take hours, but
No.
will you be able to get to the caravan before it gets to its location?
That interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was pretty neat, guys. I like that. Anyone else have anything else on this particular topic before we move on? No? All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was a lot of fun. Next, actually, as of tomorrow, we're going to have a new live stream.
That's right. Yeah.
So we might actually have enough content for another episode next week. We will see. Those of you who are watching live on twitch.tv/Dungeon Crawler Network, be sure to stay tuned as we are going to be doing an episode of The Dungeon Crawlers, our MMO news and discussion show. Please bear with us. It might take a few minutes to set up. We'll see how that goes after this show is over. If you are a podcast listener, well, none of this really matters for you. Anyway. And I want to thank my awesome co-hosts we had here. First up, Storms Lord, the disembodied voice. Thank you so much, Storms, for coming out. You can follow everything he does on Twitter at Storms Lord, as well as Digital Piper Studios, where he makes awesome games and apps and cool things like that. Of course, we got Alpha Soul over at _alpha_soul doing a bunch of Ashes of Creation content. Probably one of the few people who still are.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely is. And of course, the one and only Crowjack. You can follow him everywhere at Mr. Crowjack. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all of that. Go check it out. Pretty awesome guy. I enjoy his stuff. Go check it out. Anyway, follow everything we do over at DungeonCrawlerNetwork.com. There you'll find links to all of our social media, including Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Be sure to check out our Patreon program at patreon.com/DungeonCrawlerNetwork if you want to help support the show. You can also do that by leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes so people know that we are a real podcast, that we say real words. Sometimes it matters. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of From the Ashes. We'll see you next time. See you later, everybody.